So good morning. I hope you had your morning coffee because I'm not sure who decided it's a good idea to start the morning with technical debt discussion. So if I don't see anyone falling asleep, then I'm doing okay job. Cool. Before I start, how many of you working in technology directly? Okay. And the rest, you're not. Awesome. So we need to put the scene here. When I say debt here, I don't mean the bank finance. I wish I could help you. I need help myself. We're talking about, in particular, technical debt here, not any kind of it. Cool. So 2010, our game, Star Stable Online, used to be a single-player game. Cool. Then, I don't know the real story, but I made the lore myself because I play a lot of games. I imagine two OGs from Star Stable went to Amsterdam, went to a coffee shop, and they bought coffee, because that's what you do when you go to a coffee shop in Amsterdam. And they came with this crazy idea. Don't try this at home or at your studio. They decided, you know what, our single-player game, let's make it multiplayer MMO. How hard it can be, right? Just add the multiplayer element to it, and we're good to go. And that's exactly what happened. That was the birth of Star Stable Online, but we're still paying the price of the cutting corners and that we didn't plan well that our game is going to be multiplayer and MMO. So a lot of people don't know about Star Stable as a AA game. We have been around for 12 years and a half. We do have our own engine in-house. We also have our own editor and tools, backend architect, and even a scripting language. Why on earth having our own scripting language 10 years ago? The answer is because it's cool. Like, I don't see a real reason why we have done that instead of using established one, but we have our own scripting language. Our game is on Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android, and it is cross-platform. And I was parting of porting the game to Metal API, iOS, and Android. And it is cross-platform, like I mentioned. Target audience for our game is 8-year plus. So we are not in good position to ask them, you know what, buy the latest NVIDIA graphic 4090. It doesn't work like that. In most cases, our player base, they don't buy a new devices. Rather, they inherit the devices. I really need to change this. It looks like a Ponzi scheme. It's not. What I meant here, the parents buy the devices and the kids take them after. So we end up with really, really old devices. Our player base uses like ancient iPhone 6 as we speak until very old iPad. There's a name in our gaming space. We all had that friend that, yeah, let's play a game. I can't, my device is so old. Who can help me here? We have a name for those devices. When it's so old in the gaming space, I'm pretty sure you know. Thank you so much. Yes, a potato machine. So our game needs to run on a potato cross-platform, which makes things super complicated. So let's summarize the situation. In-house technology fully needs to run on multi-platform, cross-platform, and it needs to perform well on a potato. Is that challenging enough, in your opinion? For us was no. Let's make it even more challenging. We release weekly. Every week, every single week, since 2010 until today, every Wednesday. We didn't miss a single Wednesday. We released every week. How our game looks from user perspective and player perspective, which is horse, pinky, and magic, versus technical perspective, like this. It's a nightmare to have your own technology, 12 years of content and code in-house, and you need to release aggressively. And yeah, my name is Ali. I'm a senior technical producer at Star Stable Entertainment. I have 4 technical teams: engine, tools, server, and platform. Mainly, my main task is literally to build our technology and help shape the future of our game from tech perspective. Today's talk, I will be sharing with you 4 main technical steps we have been doing at Star Stable in the last couple of years. So hopefully that's something you can take with you to your studios, because technical debt, I don't feel there's a lot of light on it, even though this could be a factor that your studio fail or game or survive. The first one and the hardest one by far, saying no to technical debt. It's so simple. Like you just put everyone in the room, no more technical debt, all good, you go home. It doesn't work like that. This took me a lot of effort, me and the team, to have everyone onboarded. Because when you say no to technical debt, that means you will be pushing deadlines, you will be doing things differently. Because if any solution will be proposed will increase our technical debt, we're going to say no to it from now on onward. So you need to have everyone on board with this. Of course, sometimes we have some deadline to the player-facing or a DLC, so you cannot have the ability to push the deadline. It happens, even at Star Stable. So what we decided to do, the same team who pushed the feature, the first task after pushing it to live is to make it proper solution. Since then, we haven't increased our technical debt, the major ones, at all. Of course, technical debt will always happen due to small things here and there, increase in memory, but the major ones that design or cutting corners, we don't have it anymore. You cannot fight technical debt if you're adding technical debt at all. At some point, you might be staggering, which is fine, but not adding more. So this is by far the most and the hardest one. Second, you really need to spend time with your code base. You cannot just change some things and hope for the best. You need to sit down and see how all works, how it's all connected. When you see how dependency works, you see, like, if I refactor this module, this will lead me to do this, which will lead to this feature. And this is the trick. There's no way on earth. If this happens, please call me, write me on LinkedIn. I would love to interview you. There's no way a directors or higher up will come to you for the next year roadmap. Let's refactor the animation system or the gameplay. No way. This will never happen. There's always a new features, monetization, or player most requested feature. Technical debt is something no one will ask for, so you need to fight for it. And the best way is to show them how it's connected to a business value or how it's connected to player requested feature. So we start to say, if we do A, will lead us to do B, then we do this C. When you do that, you can fight for technical debt, and that's what we have done, and that's how we have allocated time in our roadmap to fix technical debt. And when you have that understanding, you know which is the most valuable part or piece to start with, because that one will enable or unlock. It's like a game, it's like a skill tree. That will enable 5 or 6, then you do. So you know where to focus and where to start. And you need to educate your users. When technical debt is present, your users will assume a lot of things it doesn't exist. They will even stop asking. They're just like, yeah, no, this. I've heard this myself. They call the engine a hack back in the days. Like, yeah, of course you cannot do this with our engine. And they start to assume things. And this is the most dangerous part. So I invite you to spend time with your user and watch them do, let's say, an item. Sit down with them, send one from your team and sit down with us and like watch the whole flow and like ask, wait a second, why you have done that? You know, you can just click here or do this. So by doing that, we start to educate our users, and they was like, oh, I didn't know that you can do that. So it's super important to spend time with your user and educate them. Because if you don't, this is what will happen. Do you know what scares me more than the tax agency in Sweden, which is actually scary? A happy user coming with a request. Because if the user is frustrated, something is crashing or something is like a block or something. And when you fix it, all good. But when they are happy, so they have spent some time thinking and they come with you with insane requests. And it happened to me. You know what was the request from one of the users? I have Ali, who came to me with like energy and happiness. Yeah, I have a great idea. Hit me, man. Why we don't move to Unreal or Unity? This is what happened. They literally asked why we cannot move to Unreal and Unity. they lost faith in our technology, and they don't know this is what they're asking for. 12 years of code and content moving to an engine, that's insane. You don't want to be in that trap. You want these users to believe in you and be part of your journey. Of course, fighting for technical debt could be hard, especially in your case. You need to build a relationship with the leadership and an understanding. Until then, you can do things. In one of my team's tools, and this is the trick I highly recommend all of you doing. You're using Jira, I guess, majority of you. Create a ticket type in Jira called technical debt. Add a new icon to it. So every technical debt ticket, use that type. Okay? Then, every sprint, every 2 weeks, pick only one. Only one ticket. We did that for a year and a half in a tools team. We fixed one of the biggest challenging issues. As simple as that. One ticket. It's not that hard. One. Only one. So we had a rule, and we have a recipe. We call it a recipe for our planning every sprint. We need to have at least one technical debt. So you can fight technical debt systematically and slowly without affecting the roadmap and the bigger items. And of course, you need to take every chance when there's a bug happens in one piece of code, and we can spend a little bit more time to make it proper. Take that chance. You need to take every chance you can to fix some pieces of code when you get a chance. So by squeezing some time in here, doing one technical ticket every sprint, you will be doing really good in the long run. So in 1 year and a half in tools team, we fixed a big issue with singletons. It will took us weeks if we're going to plan it at once, but we didn't feel it because it was only one ticket. Sadly, technical debt is not one-to-one complexity relationship. When you introduce a technical debt in your code, it doesn't mean that if you've done that in 1 day, doesn't mean in 1 day you can fix that. That's not the case. It goes exponentially because systems will be built on top of systems. This is exactly what happened at Star Stable. I'm pretty sure if with all the knowledge we have right now, if we can go back to that point when Star Stable decided we're going to do our game multiplayer, we could have done some good decision, which could save us years of suffering. That's how technical debt works. One bad decision, one cutting corner and ignoring it, will be so complex in the future. And you will see that the team will be a bit skeptical or doesn't feel confident at the beginning. And that was the case in my team. Okay, let's do some technical debt. We need to improve our code. Yeah, sure. And we do small, safe changes because you don't want to risk the live, because our game is live product. You don't want to risk upsetting the players or disturbing internal. Yeah, but that won't do any real impact. We keep talking about changing the UI system. We keep talking about changing or refactoring the render pipelines. Yeah, but nothing happened because we didn't dare to. Then I teamed up with the tech lead, and he said, you know what the worst can happen, let's do it. We picked so complex system and we refactored that. It's the system that managing all our actors. And you realize that it's actually not that hard. I mean, you're the team building the game. You're the team building technology. Of course, you can refactor a piece of system. Yes, things will happen. Things will break here and there. That's fine. But when you do that, you build a confidence. The team's like, yeah, we have done it. Now we can do it. Guess what right now? Right now, as we speak, my engine team is doing UI, continue the render refactor, and we're improving our scripting language all at once. And like few people take each project because we built a confidence. We've proven that we can do it. So my tip here: don't do the small, easy, like safe ones. It will work for some time if you have easy wins, but then it's just a waste of time. Go and do something big. Build the confidence. Quality assurance. When I joined Star Stable, we had only 2 levels of testing: unit testing and internal testing. To be confident of doing changes in your code, especially when it's technical debt present and you need to do major changes, could affect the whole game, literally. A small change in scripting language will change the whole gameplay if you do something wrong. You need to have a really good QA systems in place. So we moved from these 2 levels to here. It took us some time, but we built confident now, because if we do something wrong or a mistake in here, we trust that our testing levels will caught this. We have sanitizers running every night. We automated the full onboarding in game. We automated the launchers and everything. So I also encourage you, if you don't have a solid QA test levels in your studio, you need to have that. That will support and will make you feel more confident doing the changes. So these two combined are really good. Documentation. You also don't hear many people speak about documentation, because when technical debt is around, that means this piece of knowledge has been lost. And I'm pretty sure some people can relate. There's always one person knows everything. And that person is parental leave, picking mushrooms in the woods, and we don't have access to that person, or that person simply leave. And there's no documentation whatsoever. And if you don't have a good documentation, it's not only you don't have the knowledge, finding information, you need to ask around. It's actually increase the turnover and decrease the employee satisfaction. So we saw that. We felt the importance of document. Sadly, what happened in the past, you cannot rebuild. It takes effort. We try our best, but you can secure the future. So we have added a KPI. If you want to take a photo, I can do this. We have added a KPI for documentation, because it's hard to convince people you need to write documentation. So we made a KPI. In 2 weeks of the delivery of the feature, documentation needs to be in place. And I present the KPI to our game directors and executives. There's no play around. You deliver something, documentation in 2 weeks. As simple as that. Since then, documentation is top-notch. And we try to recover the old ones, but we're securing the future. So this is the mindset you need to have. Always look for tomorrow. Talking about tomorrow, the future. So I share with you a couple of major tips how we are doing it, but how to keep people engaged and the users. When I say, I mainly talk about our users in my teams and internal users, the game designers and gameplay. How to keep them engaged with your technology and believing in it. At the same time, they can do cool features and not only technical debt. This is a weird one. Branding. I felt doesn't matter how much we do in our tools. People still don't believe in it, I don't like it, because they have this bad memory connected with the old engine. We moved to a whole new platform internally. Still, they complain. We did a lot of fixes. Still, I don't feel like they attach to the technology at all. So we decided to change the name of our engine, to rebrand it internally. And we did that before, actually, Frostbite, my colleagues in the other room, at DICE. So our engine name used to call PX, which is, I believe, Elon Musk will definitely choose that name for the engine. The name didn't mean much to us. It's like, I don't know what that means. Maybe it meant something for the people who chose the name, but for us, the fresh blood, it didn't mean much. So we rebranded our engine. So I took a team. We spent 5 days, and I will show you the results. So the first of all, the engine name. Small difference, you see? People were like looking at that. When they saw the video, they smiled. This exactly was the reaction. Of course, changing the name is just the beginning. So we need to break the pattern. We need to show them this is an engine. We believe in equality. We changed the name to Stellar. We changed the logo. We also made a public roadmap inspired by, of course, the big commercial engines. We say hi to them. Even we make a jokes around them here and there, where users can see what is upcoming for them, and they can vote for the features they like. So we rebranded the engine. We created a platform for them to interact with us, something like this. So actor streaming, they can read the information here, and they can vote if this is something for them or not. And they cannot abuse it. They can vote only once. We try to be careful, because people are quite passionate, and they will grind farming the voting system. So this is one of the techniques, and it helped a lot. We broke the old image about the new engine, and now they feel like it's fresh, something new, and they like it. When you build in-house tools, you need to remember, this is the tools that the people will be using their full working day. It needs to feel fun and good. So I always allow the team to spend extra time to work on aesthetics and feel. We need to do that. Some people say, yeah, just only internal tool and visuals and UX looks horrible. Yeah, but you made the tool and you shipped the tool. But designers and gameplay and everyone will be using it 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. It is too much. So I'm going to show you, this is our catapult. Even the name is funny. It's a centralized way to get access to our internal tools and, of course, third-party tools. So here's mine. I'm a Dark Souls fan, so you can customize the logos and a lot of things, the colors, and here's my friend. You have a different taste a bit. So, oh, Steam. Actually, I've seen this for the first time, maybe. He's playing at work. Good. Second one, release notes. When people don't trust the technology, of course, they don't read release notes, so they don't know what you're built for them, and they keep using their old way of doing the things, which is take 10 times, if not longer. So I also saw that, like, why you have done this, you can do this. Oh, I didn't know you can do that. Yeah, we released that like weeks ago. Yeah, I haven't seen it, no one told me about it. So we start to figure out how can I make the people read the release notes. So storytelling, people love stories. So we start to make fun of our technology and make some hype. And if you want to know the story complete, they can need to click more or something. And in Confluence, you can see how many people read the page. We saw a spike after we started to do this fun way. You need to keep it fun. You need to be closer to your user. Make the tools look fun. Make it look fresh, energetic, and be funny. So we make fun of ourselves, and we include their names as heroes in the story. You see Madeline, and of course you need to ask them, like, can I use your name in the story? And they start to compete who want to be featured in every episode. So that was a cool way to build a relationship and also make sure they receive the information they should have received. The last one in here is open door meeting. It's literally as it said. It's just we book a room, we leave the door open, and the user can drop and speak to the devs directly without me being a bottleneck as a producer. They just go there and shoot their pain, their ideas, whatever. And as soon they are, and by the way, they will never ever look that happy. Like when they come to you, they will be upset. Most of the cases. If they're happy, you won't hear from them. And that's why no news is a good news. They will show up in the room and start to complain. It's a ranting session. Okay, what do you want? This, I cannot believe we should do this and this and that. We need to do that. Okay, perfect. Does anyone in the room agree with that's a good idea? Then they do voting system. And this is how you should do. Because if you don't do that, you'll be overwhelmed with the amount of requests will be coming to you. So let them do the heavy lifting and vote. Which one you believe we should have? And when we are done, the top voted one, we fast track that one to the next sprint. So you see how it's going. So we have one technical debt ticket, okay? We do one every sprint. We have one open door ticket. We do every sprint. We have been doing that for years now. Keep the users happy. Do things for them that streamline their task. Battle and fix technical debt in the long run, piece by piece or step by step. So I highly recommend doing this to build a relationship with the users. Make them to your side if you don't do that already. Last piece in here is, of course, working on technical debt is quite boring. Could be. I have some people I don't understand them. They love. They don't mind working on technical debt full time. Good for them, but it's not the case for other people. People want to do cutting edge technology. They want to do something so cool, so fancy. So we had to figure out a way to make that happen, to give them that space, because you need to maintain the happiness of your employees if you want to keep them. And we did something so clever. It's called Passion Weeks. Passion Weeks is literally a week that people can do whatever they want. No questions being asked. They can learn a new skill. They can work on any feature. They can even work on a feature in a different engine, and they share their learning. We don't have a theme for the week. We don't force people to deliver something by end of the week. They can share their knowledge if they want in front of the company, or they can document it. That's it. I'm going to show you how it looks like. So Passion Week looks something like this. This is actually from production. This is I took a screenshot from how it is when we have done it. I just removed the names. So we do brainstorming sessions in the first 2 weeks where people can brainstorm ideas and recruit for their idea. So, hey, I have this idea. In our game, we can add this quest where this happens. I'm looking for a designer, programmer, and animator. Then people look the idea, I like the idea, so they join it. So here the brainstorming. Then you can see the full week, and there's something happening every day to make people engaged and coming to the office. Last day we celebrate we celebrate the learnings, and after that we take me and the producer, we take and decide which one, a good feature we should work on next. And of course we invite guest speakers from outside. I'm going to share with you some of the deliveries from that week we have in our game right now, some of them. First one, this amazing autumn set, came from Passion Week. Photo mode, it's one of the heavily used features in our game, came from Passion Week. Snow tessellation, same technology used in Death Stranding, also came from Passion Week. This is how you make sure to balance, looking at the future, keep the employees excited and internal users at the same time, work on your technical debt the long run. And that was it. Hopefully it was light and soft enough, and hopefully you get something to take to your studio. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please remember to rate the lecture using QR code. And now we have a few minutes for your questions. Any questions?
Yes,
Okay.
please. I love questions. And don't forget to rate. Come on. If you want to see me next year.
Cool presentation.
Thank you so much.
How often do you have those Passion Weeks?
Yeah, good question. I'm glad. This is why I love questions, because you share things you forgot to mention or some hidden. First of all, it wasn't Passion Weeks. It was Passion Fridays, only one day. We felt the outcome was kind of promising, but the time wasn't good enough to deliver. Then we tried a combination between Passion Weeks and Passion Fridays. We tried to have 4 Passion Weeks. Right now, we have 3, and we have 4 or 5 Fridays. So this is the ratio right now. And guess what? I like the pattern. People start to use Passion Fridays to plan their Passion Weeks. So they use Passion Friday to prepare. So we have a combination. Right now we have 3. Thank you for the question. Any more questions?
Okay, anyone else?
Hi, great presentation once
Thank you.
again. And you mentioned that people can use Passion Week for something other than innovation, for example, learning.
Yes.
And what is the ratio of usage of these usages of Passion Week?
Yeah, thank you so much. Really good question as well. Passion Week is terrifying. Imagine that you go to your company, don't do this directly. I have an idea. Let's postpone production for a week and let people do whatever they want. They will panic. It took us a while to prove that it's actually effective. So Passion Fridays was a good start to show that people, in one day, they fix a bug that was around, but they would never prioritize that bug, or they made a quick win, of course. So when we have done that, we found a good ratio, and some people learn new skills completely. Like in my case, I've learned graphic programming entry level in that Passion Week, so I can understand what my graphics, because when they talk, it feels like Japanese to me, like what they're talking about. So I would say up to 25% doing learnings, learning a new skill completely. Like you will see someone from programming doing art, some from the art doing some technical stuff or learning programming, up to 25. Then vast majority will be doing backlog stuff. things that they believe it's more important than the things we believe it's important. And they prove their point, and sometimes it works. Like we just gallop things. And we have some people, of course, up to maybe 20% also doing new features completely, something groundbreaking. And it varies between the weeks and distribution, but usually that's how it looks like. So yeah, third learning, maybe third new features, and the rest is backlog.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Keep them coming, guys. I like questions.
I am curious about what is like a stability of this like technical solution. For example, the code may be some process of code review or something like that. What was code result of this like Passion Week ended?
Thank you. If you're talking about the stability of our code base, when I joined, we looked at the numbers differently. Like you look at the crash rate or the stability of your game as, yeah, just only a few percentage. We need to remember, these numbers are players. Our people cannot play your game. So that's how we need to see it. So we start to share stats every morning. We share stats from our code, smell, crash rate, stability, memory, everything, every morning. So we start our day by looking at data and hammering this. Guys, we have some issue here. We have some, it's going above 1%, which is the limit that we're trying to be always below. So that's how we realized that we have some issues. Then we took the steps to start doing the technical depth. Then we felt like people have a lot of creativity, because in the gaming industry is the industry that you have the opposite issue. If you go to any industry, you will have that person so passionate about the product, despite the product, and the rest will just, make the day work, and that's it. And the gaming industry is the opposite. It's like everyone is too passionate about their ideas, and you need to find a way to let them take it out. So then we felt like the Passion Week is necessarily to do so. And I can also actually mention, since you asked, we have something called Bug Bashing Day. We do it twice a year. We allocate that just to fix bugs that top rated by the players, reported by the players. We look at the most reported one, and we spend a full day, whole production team working on fixing bugs for the player. This is also a good technique to increase the quality.
Hi, great talk, thank you. How long did it take to create this habit with, these routines that you're talking about?
Thank you. Around 3 years and a half. It's a slow process. It takes time. Don't try to, if you take this blueprint, see what fits to your team size and your company. Don't try to implement everything at once. You need to build a trust. You need to prove in it. Take it step by step. It takes time. It's a very long process. So be patient. That's why I've written one. It's like you need to be patient. Fixing technical debt, it's a long journey, and you need to take it easy. And sometimes you will be questioning yourself, like, we have been spending a year on this system. Are we sure? You even doubt yourself because you're so scared that you don't see the immediate effect. But then when you see it, like I said, you're literally securing the future of your game if you do it correctly. Thank you so much. The guys were shy, and I was like, all the questions started.
Yeah. So my question is, some people, they learn a new skill. Some people do tasks from the backlog. So they were like pre-planned. We knew they were supposed to be done anyway, sometime in the future. But for the people who decide to work on the new features, like completely groundbreaking, tough things, or just very weird ideas, how do you verify and let them actually put it in the game? Because if they can do anything, they may put something that doesn't fit in the game, that doesn't target your audience. True. And if they do it, and then you tell them, no, that's not going into the game, it breaks heart, probably. So how do you go about the verification process for the new things?
Really good point. The first one, they cannot submit to main directly. It needs to follow the normal procedure, like any code. So if you have a code, you submit, it's going to go to code review, and producer needs to be involved. Mainly, they do things in dev branch. So let's say in our game, they made like a flying horse, and actually they made that happen, and it's not in the game. So they have learned, they're so happy with it. So the week after, my manager, executive producer, and all the producer, we meet in a room and look at every feature being developed, literally every feature. And we put them in quadrants, high effort and impact. So impact and effort, high, low. So if we see something, it's low effort and high impact, of course, we ship it immediately. Like this one, it's not working anymore. Anyway, this one, it was ready. We shipped that to the players the week, or the weeks after, immediately. It was ready. It was like, looks cool. It's awesome. It's amazing. Let's ship it. This one, didn't have all this feature. It had some of them. This one was just showing the tessellation part that it works. So we took that in consideration. Okay, we believe this is high impact. At the same time, it's high effort. We're talking about half-year plus project. That's how we do it. And if the game or the feature doesn't fit the need, we go to who made it and we tell, hey, we're not gonna do it in game because it's high effort, low impact, or this, and that. So we explain to them. It's not like we say no. We explain to them, and we tell everyone before, the main purpose of the week is to innovate and be creative. We don't promise them that all the features will go to live game. So far, I haven't. I mean, it happens. Sometimes people get upset. It's like, I believe this is so cool. You should have done it, but we try to be nice with them, and yeah. Thank you.
I just have one more thing to add to the last question. In my workplace, we also have a pretty much equivalent of Passion Fridays. And the fact that what you're working on is most likely not going to be implemented actually increases the creativity of the idea. And so it gives more freedom. And then if something ends up good and ends up being implemented, that's just a bonus. That's the way we think about it, and I really recommend it.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's why I said we don't do a theme, because I know big companies, they do like game jam style, and the theme of this week is this. By doing that, you have eliminated a lot of room for creativity. We literally let them do whatever they want, and you will be surprised. People in our industry are so creative. You'll be shocked what people can do in a week. In our studio, we don't have non-crunch policy. When we sign the contract, we don't compensate overtime because we don't do overtime, period. Passion Week, on the other hand, people work a lot longer, including myself, because we love what we're doing. No one asked us to. We decided that, you know what, I'm going to spend more hours a day doing something. We tell people, take care of yourself, but of course, if they had decided, it's up to them. So that's proven that they're so excited about what they're doing, they don't mind putting extra hours themselves. Cool.
Okay, and more questions? Seize the opportunity.
I mean, you can always ask me after, and here's my LinkedIn if you want to be connected. I'm more than happy. Cool. Then, Tracy, thank you so much for showing up early morning, and see you around. Thank you.